Good evening, citizens of Earth. I am Jumping Spider here with Anna Pavuova and Chief Intent, and we are here to bring you Roller Derby live and direct from the great country of New Zealand. Tonight we have the Hell Milton Roller Ghouls taking on Pirate City Raggedy Angst. Oh,
It is
I lost
great to
myself
be
for a
back here
second.
in the Derby space. After so long without any roller derby and being able to come over here to Auckland to see these two great teams battle it out, we are honestly treated here in the world today. And if you're tuning in, thanks for joining us. I'm Chief Intent, like Jumping Spider said, and it's exciting to be here.
Kia ora everyone, kia ora koutou katoa. It's really exciting to be here and to be able to be seeing everyone play at the Truss Arena. The Truss Arena in Auckland actually has a lot of history in Kiwi Derby, and there's a lot of games that have been played there, including Team New Zealand, as well as the Pirate City, that's their home base, and a lot of other teams all the way from Hamilton, Christchurch, and also over in Rector City and Wellington, my old home league. So it's a great place to play. Great surface, would recommend. And we're really excited to be able to be showing you this game today.
All right, Pavy, let's go to our lineups here. First for Hell Milton.
Great. So with Hamilton Raggedy Angst players, we're really excited to be able to show you Collateral Damage, Serious Smack, Tu Meke Bute, Mermaimed, Shaka Wobbly, The Grim Rena, Tsunami, Chaos, Karina, Grim Sleeper, Hellhound, Low Blow, Demonique, AJ Smackit, and the bench has Chemical Carnage.
Excellent. And for the Broadside Brawlers of Pirate City, the captain is number 11, Nicolicious Vicious. 31 is Shrew Loose. 42, Sledge Hannah. 97, Quiet Riot. 555, Enid Blightum. 238, Dreadful Lulu. 33, Rumble Stinston. 43, Pigeon Defective. 273, Infamy. 92, Mad Cow. 151, Babe Insane. Dr. Nova is 93 and 994 is Coppa Cat. And on the bench is Thumper and Smith.
Yeah, and we are rounding the clock with just 38 seconds left till Derby. So I hope you've got all your snacks, you've gone to the toilet, you did everything you need to do so you don't have to go anywhere for the next half hour because you're going to be glued to your televisions or watching this next half an hour of Roller Derby, the first Derby that I've seen in about a year and a half. So forgive me if I giggle like a schoolgirl because it's pretty exciting to be here.
Pay for your seat, but you're only going to use the edge.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
They're setting up for the first whistle. It looks like we've got a few setups going on.
It's hard to see the numbers of who's jamming here for both these two teams. And they're off. I'm not even sure who's in the red on the white. It's probably Hell Milton.
Yes, it looks like Hell Milton, yes.
Okay, Hell Milton in the white has the lead jammer and is approaching the pack looking to break through, and she calls that off. Not too sure who the jammer was in that one there, but she has called that off, and looks like can't even see how many points there are, but that's okay. We're going to be checking in there, see how many points come up on the screen.
Potentially two. Or my creative thinking is going awry.
A very fuzzy hand from where I'm seeing. 2 points to the Broadside Brawlers.
So that means that orange and white are Hamilton, and it was 2 points for Hamilton.
Hamilton gets knocked down in the start, and it looks like Pirate City rolling around that front end. Good half a lap on the Hamilton jammer as she now rounds that third corner, looking to make her approach on the back of the pack. Hamilton not too far behind. Looks like Nicolicious Vicious.
And we've got a caller from backwards. There's a couple of start strategies that are quite interesting at the moment. The offense are getting out those jammers really quickly. They're out without the 1 to 2 second mark, which is a pretty solid start. But here we go, starting all the way at the top now, so we'll see what happens here.
Scoreboard's changed a little bit, but it looks like 4 points to Broadside Brawlers and 2 points to Raggedy Anns. So 2 points just trailing after these first two jams. The whistle's blown, and Pirate City looking to find a gap on the outside edge. Does so, but looks like they're getting a cut track. But that was to Hal Milton. And lead jammer's Hal Milton at the moment, although you'd be surprised, you'd be forgiven for thinking it was Pirate City given the fact that they were in front.
And we have our first blocker in the penalty box. So that's number 9 for Hal Milton. That's Demonique. Manages to treasure that first penalty moment for the game.
And they're setting up Hal Milton right there on the jammer line. And Pirate City slides back now to try and make some room for their jammer. Camera's getting knocked around a bit there, as is all the skaters. Everyone's falling down. And Pirate City resets their jammer as looking to make some space on the inside edge. But it is Hal Milton who comes out with the lead jammer and is rounding the track now, looking to try and put some points on the board.
There's definitely a hustle going in on that pack. That pack is speeding up quite dramatically.
Oh, is there a pack? That is all over the place.
And a quick call off on that side. Looking at Hal Milton's play, it appears that they might be going for the longer jam and pushing out to get that fast pace. There's a few interesting starts that are happening here. We've started at the pivot line. We've gone back to split up now between the two packs, and then we've also done already a bit of a jam start. So it looks like they're trying to find their feet and find what's going to work successfully for their team.
Just feeling out the track at the moment. We've got a couple of Hal Milton in the bin at the moment, and a lot more Pirate City skaters on track. And is this paying out? It is paying up now for Pirate City as they now have the lead jammer, and some of those Hal Milton skaters rejoining the track. Pirate City looking to put some points on the board on the outside edge. Changes it, flicks it around. Good 3-wall there by Hal Milton, holding back that Pirate City jammer. And we've got the other jammer now coming in. She's not lead jammer, but maybe putting some points on the board. This jam's still going, not calling it off after those four going to both teams, it looks like.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going for a longer jam here. We've still got one Hal Milton in the box. We're calling off the jam. We'll see how that irons out. Means that we'll start with Hal Milton with only 3 on the track, plus the jammer, so they'll have a down start.
Looks like they're giving us a good range of types of jams here in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, there's a little bit of penalty trouble on Hal Milton's side. Not too much to stress about just yet. Definitely something to monitor going forward, especially at the pace that Pirates are pushing them.
Pirate City looking to get lead jammer. She gets tapped out on the inside edge by the pivot for Hal Milton. Number 90. Oh, it's so hard to see numbers from here, but I think that's Dr. Nova. No, it's too hard to see.
You got it right. That's Dr. Nova 93.
Yeah, Pirate City lead jammer, Dr. Nova, followed by that's
by Low Blow.
Low Blow.
That was a great catch up by Low Blow, number 83 for Hamilton, chasing along 93 Dr. Nova.
The scoreboard reads 10-9 with the Brawlers 1 point up.
It's a close game so far. The official's 5-second call is beautiful. I can hear it right well in my ears. Makes me happy.
Takes you back.
Takes you back for sure. We've already got Pirates out with the lead straight away.
Yeah. Pirate lead jammer, but he is chased fairly fast behind by Hal Milton's jammer. These teams seem really evenly matched out here today, which is fantastic to see coming straight back into Derby. Mr. Darcy out there in Twitch lands. Oh, go ahead, baby.
Oh, thank you. We've definitely got a confident start here. They're focusing more on taking the top, which does mean that we're seeing a lot of rush starts. Everyone is in a rush to get to turn one.
Yeah, there's a lot of action going on there. On the inside edge, Pirate City coming through with lead jammer. The Hell Milton jammer still stuck at the back of the pack, but she's now making her way through after a cut track, it looked like, for a Hell Milton blocker. Points on the board, but knocked out. So we're going to see how that didn't get knocked out. Looks like she's grabbed the 4 and 4-0.
That was some great footwork on the inside line by the Pirates jammer at the start there to stay in bounds. And it looks like from what we can see that they also did like a one hand or just stayed in bounds when they fell. To have that control takes a lot of precision to be able to stay in bounds while on the track and your blocker's running in the other direction. So a lot of respect to that. Well done.
Yeah, exactly. And she looked like she took a pretty big hit, so managed to put the 4 points on the board is what counts. Okay, we've got a bit of tension happening here in the back of the pack. Pirate City looking for that gap on the inside. Taking the outside is now through as the lead jammer.
There's quite a bit of jostling happening there between those packs. There's a bit of offense from either team trying to help out their jammers, and that defense is definitely locking down to do more of a rotating motion.
Absolutely. There's a lot of action going on in that pack, and as any Derby fan will know, you've got to keep your eye on the blocking pack to see all the good action. And that's definitely no different here today in New Zealand, in Auckland.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Chief, but I generally try to keep my eye on the ball, and I hear that the ball is generally the one with the star on their helmet. Maybe it's a little bit of looking at myself a bit there, but I love just following the jammer around.
Yeah. Hang on, there's a ball? I've been doing this game wrong for 10 years. This is ridiculous.
There is a ball. You just got to look very hard to find it.
I put my glasses on. That'll sort me out. Pirate City on the outside edge, but it is Hell Milton out the front with lead jammer. And Pirate City still caught up at the back of the pack.
To catch up.
Great chance here for them to try and put some points on the board. Although they're getting caught up at the back of the pack, and they've come all the way through now. And it looks as though there's 4 points on the board, but she's going to still keep going around, and equalized 4 points there for Pirate City. It is scoring time now here for Hell Milton. Going to be trying to put that point on the board and then maybe call it. Who knows? She's calling it. That's how many points she got there before that went down. I think that's 3. So that's a good result there for Hell Milton, being able to claw back 3 of those points in the gap, but also 4 points on the board for Pirate City.
Breaks a 4 jam, scoreless streak for Hell Milton.
That's a very interesting call for Hell Milton. They've got one in the box right now, so they will be starting on a down start. I'll be interested to see how confident they are against a 4 wall.
Well, confidence is blustering here for Hell Milton because they're pushing through that front blocker, and it looks as though lead jammer against the 4 wall, one person down, didn't make much of a difference, which is great to hear for Hell Milton because they've got a 5-point gap difference they're going to want to try and minimize here. And she's still the only jammer that's through. 4 points on the board for Hell Milton, and Pirate City's jammer still caught up at the back there in that very, very tight pack there, all giving each other a massive hug. Definitely not respecting the 1.5 meter rules. And another 4 points on the board for Hell Milton. I think that means we've got a bit of a lead change going on here as Hell Milton now take the lead, I think, at 23 points to 20. And we still have no second jammer through the back of the pack there. So this is fantastic work getting done here by the Hell Milton blockers, being able to really, really put a pause in Pirate City's ability to put points on the board. All of these points here for Hell Milton have been unanswered, And I think that's the third lap now that's going around there. I can't see the Jammer's number. She definitely needs a shout out. This is now another 4 points on the board. I think we've got a 16-point jam here, unanswered at the moment, as Pirate City look to reform that 3-wall at the front. Oh, and a forearms getting sent off there. I think that was the pivot for Pirate City. And another 4 points on the board for Hell Milton. This is definitely the largest scoring jam we've had yet to date in this game, and a fantastic move on the board for Hell Milton. They're going to be stoked with this when it comes to looking around and checking how many points they got on the board. Another 4 points on the board for Hell Milton.
Yeah, that offense at the end there, that just made me want to clap right in front of the camera to just get excited. It was great to see the blockers looking out for their jammer there around the second and third passes, and then following on from those consecutive passes. Because after you've done the first round, you kind of get to a point where you wonder, is this the right life choice for me? Do I really want to keep going? So it was great to be able to see that jammer pushing through and driving to be able to earn them that lead, which are now getting that 24 kilopoint jam by Remedy Anson Hell Milton. Spectacular
24-point
work
jam.
there.
And they're coming into this next jam here with the only jammer on the pack. So they're on track, and they're trying to push through, but Pirate City's out of the box and looking to get out the front there also. A lot of action going, and lead jammer going there to Hamilton. Hamilton. My apologies. And both jammers now through the pack. As the pack starts to reform, look at their options. Hell Milton looking to put some points on the outside of the pack. Pirate City unable to stop her, and she calls it off. 4 more points on the board, really stretching that lead out now to a 23-point lead for Hell Milton.
So that was a spectacular jammer scarecrow call off at the end there to make sure that everyone could see what was going on, with the beautiful arms pointed downwards and your shoulders pointing out to the sides with your elbows. I love a bit of drama at the end of a jam to get that call off.
Yeah, I miss the drama. And the pack is off. Hell Milton looking to try and push their way through. Pirate City really stuck there at the back with under that 3-wall of Hell Milton's. Lead jammer goes through to Hell Milton again as Pirate City's pack looks to reform and try and provide some support for their jammer. Unfortunately, unable to. Hell Milton's jammer doing some fancy footwork, going from the outside to the inside, putting 4 points on the board. Pirate City trying to make their way through the inside, and must have got knocked out there because she's having to reset and rejoin the back of the pack. And it looks like we've got ourselves another 4 points on the... Not just yet. Calling it too early. There we go. 4 points on the board there for Hell Milton. Pirate City's jammer right in the mix there. If you can't see, there she is. She's right at the back. Good blocking there by that back marker of Hell Milton. A big shout out to the rookies on PCR playing their very first game today. Got to start somewhere, and you might as well start with one of the first games back in the world.
Yeah, there's a bit of falling going on that turn 3. It looks like there's a bit of slippery surface, or just a bit of like hugs from the floor.
Oh, they're going to need some wet weather tyres out there to handle turn 3. We've got everyone's caught up at the back there at the moment. Hell Milton trying to find their way on the outside edge and makes it. And that's another 4 points on the board. Oh, where's that star going?
Star pass. There we go.
Where is it? Sneaky old star pass.
All right, out.
It's on.
And that's our first star pass for the game. We're about just over into quarter 2. This first star pass. It's a pretty good kickoff.
Yep.
There's a couple of fans there for Spider on the Twitch stream chat. Big shout out to them.
I've only just met Spider and I'm a huge fan.
Well, we're all a fan of roller derby, so that's why we're here. Looks like we've got a timeout being called by Pirate City Broadside Brawlers. It's probably a good opportunity for them to be able to have a discussion around what sort of blocking in regards to their three walls and how they want to lock down that jammer. They're definitely setting up well at the starts and holding true to their positioning. It's those consecutive passes that they're having a bit of trouble with, and their jammer's not getting that support that they need to be able to get out faster. So now is a great opportunity for them to reset, look at how Hamilton are taking the opportunity to do offense against them and to be able to counter that quickly and more efficiently. It looks like Hamilton on their side are quite content with their pace and content with how their start position is going. I've definitely been seeing a couple of covers on their side when their jammer's approaching ahead of time, which is quite a luxury when you're a jammer to be able to hopefully get through without being touched. Then they don't have to worry about the 1.5 distance and they can just keep skating and learn how to do some speed skating rather than roller derby. Nothing wrong with that on the jammer side.
I think the goal for every jammer is not to get blocked at all, isn't it, Pavey? Just not get touched. Don't have to worry about any of this 1.5 malarkey.
Yeah, well, I mean, MC Hammers can't touch this is definitely something that you like to have in your head when you're skating around consecutive passes, for sure.
Yeah. Pirate City obviously out there having a big chat going, look, we're 41 points down. Let's get it together. Let's sort this out and put some points on the board. And they've eaten their oranges at half time, and now they're ready to get back out there with all their extra vitamin C.
Yeah, nothing wrong with some extra vitamin C to get you out there.
Oh, no. All the vitamins, all the letters. Get them in there.
Talking about snacks, there were these like electrolyte jelly beans that I just love in America, and you can't get them in New Zealand and Australia, and I just miss the magic bean moments where you just want to push that extra jam to get that electrolytes in you.
Fantastic. Jelly bean electrolytes, I'd be onto that. And straight out of the gates here, there was a bit of jammer on jammer action as Hamilton sort of gave a bit of a Pirate City shove, but it turned out not so. Pirate City is now jammerless in the bin. And that means it's all coming up. Hamilton as the only jammer on track. We have a faster moving pack now to try and speed this up. But Hamilton's trying to, looks like, capture one of the Pirate City skaters at the back, but unable to. And we've got a full four-wall at the front now.
I'll be interested to see if they do it again. Yeah, here we go.
And the pivot for Hamilton makes her way through to the sin bin as the Pirate City jammer rejoins the back of the pack and is pushing hard against those back blockers.
Looks like the Hamilton team are quite happy to rush up that Pirate City wall up the front there to be able to get their jammer to create that chaos and embrace being able to get out with more of a one-on-one style rather than more coordinated three-wall at the top. So they're definitely embracing that speed and that chaos. That's how we've even got to, turn 3 potentially in our second lap all in the one jam before we're even at 10 seconds left in the one jam.
Yeah, that's very much correct.
And that was a great push in regards to the powerless jam, where the starting pass, unfortunately, they did have the great start intensity by the Pirates, but the jammer unfortunately got taken to the box at that point. So let's see if this momentum shift will still continue to contain after the timeout and win this start.
Well, momentum is definitely one of the key things here, and it can certainly be a game changer for how it plays out on the track. And Pirate City have taken that momentum from the last jam and are out there now lead jamming. Probably the first time a lead jam in the last 4 or 5 jams. And they're certainly going to want to try and capitalise on that and put some points on the board. The Hamilton jammer still unable to make her way through that 3-wall at the front. And really good blocking there by Pirate City. It looks like Hamilton's now coming up to try and help make a bit of a hole there for their jammer. Points on the board now coming to Pirate City at the back of the pack. And whether or not she's going to want to take that 4 or try and roll the dice and hit the pack again and see what happens. She's certainly in the top end momentum. She might grab some points and then call it. She's called it. Not too sure if there was any points there from Hell Milton, though.
Oh, that looks like it would potentially be 1 point, maybe 2, holding up by the ref. So could have been a close call there with a 3-2 style point. Yeah, there's definitely 2 there for Hamilton and 5 there for Broadside Brawlers. So a little bit shy on the call off there. Having said that, with the chaos that both of these teams are playing with, there's a lot of one-on-one hits and a lot of push-outs from the wall to try and get that sneaky hips behind the other hips to score those points.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rolling of the dice going on out there as well, and hitting that second pack was always going to be a bit of a risk. Both these jammers now trying to find their way through their respective blocking walls. Hell Milton managed to pop out, and she's now been recycled back to the back, but it does look like Pirate City come out on top. Lead jammer Pirate City, that's 2 in a row. This is certainly what they're going to need to try and claw back this deficit in the points.
Yeah, I'm definitely not shy to a 40-point jam. This is a great opportunity to just start to hover above all of the pack and continue to skate really fast. There's nothing wrong with a casual 10 laps by a jammer and a 2-minute time difference. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. No, I love a good power jam. Stacking the points on is certainly nothing that they can't claw back. It was a 24-point jam that gave Hell Milton this bit of a lead here. Followed by a 16-point, but certainly nothing that Pirate City can't claw back with a good couple of jams there, stacking on the points. Hell Milton on the outside, lead jammer goes to Hell Milton, quickly followed there by Pirate City.
And it looks like we're out to the races. Everyone is deciding that they're now a speed skater.
Yep. Got to make sure they don't skate faster than our frame rate.
Pancake. We'll just continue to look at little blobs floating around the screen. Eventually, we'll catch up with them and what's happening on their side. This type of opportunity now is a good chance for Hell Milton and Pirates to try and get one of those jammers from either side into the box. If they can force a power jam, that could pull this game either way.
Absolutely, and a well-timed power jam can turn even the most ugliest of scenarios the other way around. We are in the first half here, and we're looking at 7 minutes and 25 seconds left on this halftime clock. Neither jam are able to get through these really solid blocking patterns, and Hell Milton reforming at the front there to try and stop that jammer, but Pirate City just pushing her way through, and she's now lead jammer. Going to want to capitalize on this lead as she's the only jammer out of the pack at this stage. Half a lap on Hell Milton, who's now just coming through. It is some really good blocking out there. I'd like to thank God. And it looks like... Oh, go ahead.
Go for it, Chief. What did you find?
I've forgotten what that. I think is it a multiplayer block when they hold their hands up and with their fists in like you can't see me. What's this?
Yeah,
is that multiplayer block?
I was doing it. That's the multiplayer. Yeah.
Yes, that's a multiplayer when we all hold hands together.
Yeah, I was like, it looks like they've been sent off for a hand holding.
Well, I mean, we all know that hand holding is not COVID safe. So we do not recommend.
No. And elbows is fine, though, here in Rollbull Derby. So that's why we're able to come back, giving each other the elbow.
Looks like we had quite a wake-up from the crowd there. They were pretty excited about that jam. Looks like it was a real out the races. Both jammers got out at the same time and had a bit of a hustle. So it does look like the skill level from both jammers on either side is quite even. It really goes down to how they're feeling later on in the second half of the game.
Yeah,
Dave,
that's
shout out
right.
to
We've
you
seen
from Crunchy 19.
Oh, hi,
Crunchy
Crunch. It's great to hear
19.
you. Oh.
Yeah, we're seeing some very evenly matched teams here today, and I think it's only just been a couple of jams here that's really separating these two on the scoreboard. But both these jammers, we're now seeing a real cross of both these two jammers teams sort of getting out there and getting some lead jams on the board. Pirate City now lead jammer, putting points on the board. And I think the rest of this game surely is going to be as nail-biting as we've had already.
Yeah, it looks like I've jinxed Milton a little bit there. Their jammer is sitting in the box, has stood up and looking like it's less than 10 seconds remaining.
She's back in. No more jinxes from you, Pavey. You're changing the outcome of the game.
I'll keep my trickery alone.
That's right, all your voodoo dolls and whatnot. Oh, where are we? I can't even see what's going on here.
It's great
And
to hear
it's been called.
the love and support from the families and the crowd out there. It's great to see all the community coming to watch, and I know for some of them this might be being able to see some of their daughters or potentially some of their siblings or other family members together and watch them play for the first time. So well done to all those families out there or watching online or in person to be able to support both Milton and Pirate City.
Yeah. Points going there to the right team, which is great. Broadside Brawlers, PCR getting those 12 points. I'm sure they're looking up the scoreboard going, what the? But they've definitely got the points they just added to the score. 42 to 79.
3 ginger passes.
What's that? That is a 37-point difference.
That was a big power jam there for Pirate City on that last go-around.
Yeah, there was 3 passes that while we were all distracted looking at shiny things, they just skated past all of us.
Yeah, and giving that power jam that we were talking about that they desperately needed. Here they are popping it out. Pirate City now the lead jammer. Now, I think that's probably 4 in a row. This is definitely what they had been talking about in their little powwow. Going, get out there, put some points on the board, and they've come out doing exactly that. Milton still at the back of the pack, has not yet made her first initial pass or initial breakthrough. 4 points on the board there for Pirate City.
Yeah, never underestimate the importance of a team chat. Being able to come together and inspire and motivate each other and set a really clear strategy ahead is definitely a game changer.
Absolutely. Bit of a motivational speech, gets everyone across the line. Pirate City have shown that right now because there's another 4 points on the board, and Milton still caught up there underneath Pavey's curse. Hopefully able to break free of that sometime soon.
Look, I mean, it's also part of, if you ever play Pokemon, there's nothing like that sort of tackle that's only effective for so long before you change Pokemon. So, I mean, I'm sure it'll change soon.
Exactly, and that's what's so great about the game of Derby, the ability to pivot on a dime and just go, we need to change our tactics, and having those tactics in the bag to be able to just switch it up and play a different game of Derby. And we're seeing a different game of Derby here by PCR as the points are piling on in this jam unanswered.
Yeah, it looks like they are going for the long jam. There's only 15 seconds left, and they decide they don't want to do the last pass. They are done. They are happy, and that's a great result for them.
Yeah.
There's nothing like when you start to go to the second or third pass, and then you kind of don't look at the scoreboard, and you feel like it should have already been over yet. And then you look at yourself and you go, oh, well, maybe it won't be the best alternative to continue skating, and you kind of have to psych yourself up to keep going, and that mental resilience is something that's a challenge for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And we're off here in this next jam. Both jammers trying to push their way through to the front. It is Milton out for the first time, lead jammer, and I think about 6 jams. Going to be wanting to try and extend that lead. Pirate City still caught up in the back of the pack. Milton trying to put some points on the board. Here we are, smashed into the back of the pack. And it's hard to see what's going on in there. But there she comes out
we have
front.
one.
4 points on the board for Milton. We've got a bit of a... There's the jammer for Pirate City now through the pack. And Milton trying to get some last-minute points on before keeping an eye on that jammer. There's the points. There's the call-off. Good work there by Milton. I think an 8-0 on that last jam.
Yeah, there were some great swooping movements that were happening in that jam by both jammers on each side. It looks like the floor there is a bit hard to be able to have a quick cut or quick agility, so being able to use those S-curve shapes or swooping motions can really capitalize on being able to rotate that wall. And a big shout out to my dad who's watching. So hi, Dad. It's great to see you there.
Hi, baby's dad.
Hope you're doing well.
So do you know a lot of these skaters out there on the track today, Pavey?
Are we
at the half? Oh, we are.
Recognize. We are. This is the half. So yeah, there's a few of them that I recognise. There's definitely a few new ones out there. That the strategies from both sides are quite their traditional style. It's interesting to see how they've been playing around with starting in the centre or starting near the jam and pivot lines. It looks like it's continuing to be quite a fast game. We've seen both jams have like quite a few passes around, and so I'll be interested to see in the second half whether they continue that motion or whether that gets a little bit tiring for them and everyone just kind of slows it down and locks down on that defence.
Yeah. And Pirate City is hosting Derby 101 Skate Like a Pirate program for beginner skaters wanting to upskill and find a new love for skating in all things roller derby. The current intake is running and will be opening for a new intake mid-year around July, so be sure to keep an eye out for the posters and posts around times and dates.
Yeah, there's never a bad time to start skating, but if there's a good time, now is the great time to learn how to skate. It's quite a forgiving time frame. There's no rush, and especially when you're in the Auckland region, there's a few leagues around that you can play with and be able to play games against. I know that both Pirates alone have their own home season. They also have two teams that continually play. Milton have at least the one team. I believe they might even have two. And then there's other regions around there, including Whakatane, home of Ivy Conivy, as well as both Rector City back in Wellington.
This is the perfect time if you've been holding to go to the bathroom, that you can 12 minutes you now have to go to the bathroom before Derby starts. I'll be handing over to Jumping Spider for the play-by-play call. And enjoy the bathroom.
Or make a cup of tea. 5 minutes.
Or a cup of tea.
Brewing, cup of tea.
Yeah. And welcome back here. I hope you've done all your important things. And PCR, big thank you to the Trust Arena, Henderson, Auckland, for their amazing communication and assistance here today. And obviously this massive stadium here that they're playing in, which is fantastic.
Most definitely. What an exciting first half that was, folks.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of pace, a lot of speed. There is
with 25 points of difference.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
There was a slight scoring change.
There's definitely a comfortable power jam to take that lead away. So there is definitely a great opportunity for Broadside Brawlers from Pirate City to be able to take the lead on that. The momentum shift that they had in that second quarter definitely brought them back. There was a bit of a divide at that starting quarter by Hamilton taking quite a bit of the lead. I'll be interested to see whether there's a few star passes that get creeped into this second half of the game. Considering the pace that we had in the first half, I wouldn't be surprised if a few people get a little bit tired after the 10-minute mark in the second half. So we'll see whether the pace slows down a little bit from that. Looks like the team chats have happened. We are already on the track, and I'm excited to hear this official's 5 seconds because they're loud, and I just embrace that.
Fans getting back to their spots in the seats now. Jumping Spider with Pavey here for the second period of play. Raggedy Yanks, the Hell Milton Roller Ghouls on top 87-62 against the Pirate City Broadside Brawlers as we kick off our second period. We had some continuity there in the first half on the Pirate City side. Number 11, as the lead jammer goes to Hell Milton here. It was Nicolicious Vicious and 151 Babe Insane out the majority of the time for Pirate City, and engineered their comeback in the latter stages of that first period as Hell Milton jammer here deep into the pack trying to evade the last couple of blockers, and nice blocking by the Pirate City pivot, slowing things down just enough for their jammer to get in and force the call off. Hell Milton does pick up the points there, and we'll see how many just in a moment.
Yeah, that's the first jam done already in the second half, and Hell Milton have taken it away with the 4-point pass. It does look like we're starting a lot further at the top here in the pivot line. I'll be interested to see whether they do start to suck back the wall and actually sit on those jammers. Yeah, it looks like that's happening right now to be able to slow down that Hell Milton's footwork.
Jam kicks off here. Once again, Hell Milton out quickly. That's Demonique, lead jammer Demonique in white for Hell Milton. Babe Insane out in the trailing position. About half a track as they move into the second turn. The wall solidifies for Pirate City. Demonique calls off the jam.
And that was a close call-off. Yeah, that was a quite close call-off. They're definitely hustling up to try and get that sneaky 1-point pass, and I would definitely embrace that. It looks like it was only 2 points there for Hell Milton, forcing that call-off relatively quickly. If they can keep that up, there's definitely a way to be able to match that margin. Fingers crossed they get a couple of penalties to go their way and then can pull away.
And Pavey, this is how the first half started, but it was just in reverse, or as the inverse, I should say, as lead jammer here goes to Nicolicious Vicious. The Broadside Brawlers started off the game scoring the points and taking the lead with a couple of one-pass jams and getting a couple of points before Raggedy Yanks took things over in the middle part of that first period.
Yeah, Spider, it does appear like they're putting in a little coin in and hoping for the best in that end result.
I like that, is dropping in and seeing what they can get in the claw machine, just trying to pull a couple.
That's a nice loud call off by the bench there, and you can see the beautiful bench crew have got their pirate outfits on. Everyone loves a bit of a costume. Everyone loves to embrace the pirate hat, and you kind of feel a little bit more powerful when you've got a pirate hat on. I don't know about you, but when you dress up, you feel pumped, you feel excited, and you want to play some great derby.
I'm boring. I'm a baseball cap person pretty much all the time.
No, you got to have the fashion hats, Spider. Got to have the fashion hats.
Going to have a bit of a spell here for Pirate City as number 93 coming into the fray, Dr. Nova, going to be recycled, and Hell Milton take that opportunity to grab lead jammer. So lead jammer has gone back and forth. Hell Milton got the first two of the second half before being stymied in one, and now the advantage goes back to the team in white. Pack speeds up as they come back to the first straightaway. Ooh, dangerous riding the outside edge there by the Hell Milton jammer.
Oh, it is a cut. It is a cut. They are calling it. The outside pack ref saw it, had to think about it, and went, yeah, I'm pretty sure that is what I saw.
And so we are going to go to the 40-hour work week. That's the full time here, folks. We're going to go the full time in this jam. And Pirate City with the opportunity on the power jam to close this gap.
This is a great opportunity for Pirate City. We talked about that 24-point jam. This is a great moment to put that in. Just a recommendation on my side there.
And a star pass. Star is going to go to number 555, Enid Blyden.
Oh, that was a great juke by the black jammer there. I could see the lean and push towards the right side and then quickly sneak in on the inside line. Sometimes those jukes are just enough to get that blocker out of your way.
Another nice move by Enid, a stop and go move. I want to get a chance to talk about this floor because I think that some of the skaters, this is a very jammer friendly floor. The momentum is in the favor of the players who are the inertia, who are in motion. They are staying in motion, and the blockers, they're trying to catch one-on-one, just don't have the friction to be able to get their wheels in, dig their wheels into the surface.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Spider. It does look like a lot of the like snowplow movement or the gliding motion. You're really having to lock down quite hard, which for a jammer you can use a lot of your footwork just to lift off your feet and be able to move in multiple directions. So that does make it quite a fun time as a jammer, just to be able to do lots of little feet and lots of jukes to be able to gain advantage against those blockers.
Typically a blocker's nightmares. We are coming down to near the end of this one. Enid Blyden has a bit of a smaller pack to work against as a couple of Raggedy Yanks blockers are in the penalty box now. And that will
Oh, it does look like they got released right at the end there.
So good things for Raggedy Yanks is they did not want to keep those blockers in the box.
No, for sure. I agree with you there. It would have been quite a hard start for the Raggedy Yanks Hamilton style to start with only a 2-wall there. Those are challenging starts, let alone having to do them with less people. So a great job for those folks to be able to get them out of the box in time. And that is a 20-point jam for Broadside Brawlers from Pirate City to be able to continue that power jam. So that's if my math is correct, that's 5 passes by the jammer. Also remembering that the star was passed during that time, so some of those were earned by the pivot. So that's great teamwork on their side. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple more star passes in the second half as we are taking out the clock and there are less time happening.
And I know you mentioned that, Pavey, if to see how the stamina of both teams would stack up here in the second half. Worldwide, so many teams that are coming back to play are really getting their legs back under them and shaking off a year or so's worth of rust. And it's no different for these teams, even if they have been back on the training floor.
Oh yes, I saw a meme online the other day of a shark chasing looked like a girl with inflatable floaties running away from the shark. I definitely feel like that's something that you would be when you're in your second and third pass, where you're running away with your floaties and hoping for the best. So we do have
a 12-point game in there.
Exactly. I was just going to say, Chief, this is the closest the margin has been since early in the first half. The Broadside Brawlers have really caught up.
Yeah, Pirate City really pulling back there in the last little bit, and we got ourselves a derby game on our hands here with 12 points. Pirate City's really bringing out some extra oomph from that halftime.
Yeah, those power jams are definitely working in their favour on this side. Hamilton need to focus on staying onto the track. If they can keep all their friends on the track, stay away from the box, they might be able to still maintain this lead and continue to push out. But that's a challenge being said, let alone being done. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. We haven't checked in what the official review here is for yet. When we do find out, we'll let you know. It does look like there's a big discussion happening by the officials there in the centre. So there's definitely a few things that are going on, perhaps a penalty that might be being raised or a clarification on the points.
I'm sure there's some question there with the jammer penalty as well as the star pass. There were so many different things going on in that jam that are scrutinized worthy for a bench coach. I speak from experience there.
That Hal Milton is helping out the ref there with a bit of arm action, putting your arms up like that can really take it out of you. And it's really good to have the teams punch in there and help out. This is a great time to mention that Broadside Brawlers are excited to announce that they'll be hosting a mini tournament spacing over 2 days scheduled for August. It's a very exciting time to watch a weekend full of roller derby between New Zealand B teams. So dates is to be confirmed soon and distributed through to Pirate City Rollers media pages. Not to mention
There's
another program Pirate City hosts. Yeah,
go for it, Chief. I was just excited.
I was just going to say about the junior roller derby team, because those little guys get out there and they skate their hearts out, and it's really great to get out there and support them. And the Scallywags and their Learn to Skate program. During mid-year, a new intake will take place. So if you're under the age of 18 and love skating and want to learn, PCR can help you out. Get in touch with the PCR Facebook page, Messenger, or PCR website on piratecityrollers.com. If you're under 18 and you're looking at this and you're going, I want to get involved, get involved.
So, Chief, did you say that the junior's name is the Scallywags?
Yes.
That's
pretty
an
awesome.
Excellent name. Let's just all take a moment to embrace that. Who doesn't want to be a scallywag when they're under 18? I want to be a scallywag and I'm not 18 anymore.
Back to it here from the Trust Arena as the official review comes to a close. Hal Milton, lead jammer, believe that's Karina, 07 for Hal Milton as she comes into the pack and evades the blockers. Oh, see, there's that floor eating another pivot alive. And
the floor wins every game, Spider.
The floor always wins. It really does. Pack spreading out now on the near straightaway. Hal Milton jammer coming through as the pack is moving very quickly, and there will be the call off. So 1+ pass there for Hal Milton as they cross the century mark.
It's great to see Hal Milton doing some of those catches at the front. I can see it would be quite challenging with the slippery surface that they are having, but being able to catch that jammer by using your chest can go either way. So it's great to see them taking that risk and taking that chance to try and get that final catch and force that jammer to go back into the pack.
Most definitely, as we start things off here in the 6th jam of the second half. Nicolicious Vicious goes around the outside to pick up lead. There have been a couple of jams in Hal Milton's run where they were able to either recycle the black jammer or just have that one catch that let their jammer get out and grab lead, and that's been so important here in this game so far. Nicolicious Vicious calls off the jam with a couple of points in the bag, 3 to be exact.
It looks like Hal Milton are very excited to get on that track. They're very fast to be able to get back on from sitting there at the bench to be able to sit up at the back. So it seems that that's their preferred start during this game now, and they seem pretty confident in being able to rush up against the other team.
Definitely want to see how that develops because, as you said, Pavey, Hal Milton has had some players go to the penalty box, don't have a count on any penalty trouble for either side, but I'm sure that it is something that their bench will be watching. Both jammers being stymied here as the pack slowly spreads out into the first and second turns. Hal Milton with the latitude advantage so far, and they will now get lead jammer Hal Milton. Blocker there is looking for a recycle, and they got it on the Pirate City jammer.
Has taken their star off. Looks like we could beef up for a star stash or a star pass. Oh, and the Ghost Blocker is just taken out again.
Oh.
The Ghost Blockers, the floor, it's like, I mean, It's easy for us to blame our tools, but I mean, you've got to take care of those things. You never quite know when they're going to get you unawares, even when it's at the end of the jam.
That invisible trip rope sometimes. It's just out there and you don't see it, and then it gets you.
Look,
I will
I think
thank
the
my
most important
stars.
part is after the fall, you just got to look fabulous. If there's
True.
anything that I've learned from my years of playing Derby is no matter what happens, there's a lot of unknowns. If you look fabulous at the end, everyone will just laugh.
Speaking of fabulous here, that's a fabulous pass. And no lead jammer, though. No lead jammer. No pass, no penalty for Babe. That's Babe Insane. And a jammer penalty was called on Karina for Hell Milton. So a power jam opportunity here for the Broadside Brawlers, and we will go the full time on this 8th jam of the second half.
Could this be the 21 points that they need?
There'll be a bit of tough sledding now as Karina's back on the track and blasts through. Oh, she just pushed a blocker to the outside and opened up the pack right through the middle. Well, now we'll
It
get a
does look
call
like
there.
there's a few hand signals there from the bench. It did look like there was some signaling happening from the bench around calling and wrapping it up. So there does seem to be some sort of either hit and quit strategy or potentially a short jam strategy that Broadside Brawlers are embracing at the moment.
We're going to have an official timeout on the floor here. Never want to speculate exactly on what the officials are discussing. I will say, it did seem that they did not call lead for Babe Insane for Pirate City on that last go around, and then she called off the jam as she got into the pack. So I wonder if there will be any discussion on that. This is an official timeout again, not an official review. So we'll see what the results of this are. Currently, the score stands 110-93 in favor of Hell Milton.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, Spider. Both jammers did, although get out of the pack. Hell Milton's went to the box and then returned back, which at that time it appeared like they may have lost lead, while Broadside Brawlers got out of the pack afterwards and were declared not lead. So there's definitely something interesting going on there. Having said that, though, I mean, the officials might just want a drink. Sometimes, they don't get a break between jams, so maybe they just want to have a nice cup of water or have a drink and then
You got to
talk
take the
about what's
time where you
happening
can,
and come back
baby.
together.
Yeah.
Well, they have
And
the power to take the time when they like.
Exactly. They make time.
I thought the drinks break was an official time between the first one and then the lunch break and then stumps and this is a different sport. My fault.
I thought you were going to say the 30 seconds between, and I was going to say, oh, Spider, I don't know about you, but I don't think I can drink that fast and find my drink bottle at the same time.
We'll make an officials water bottle chugging challenge.
Yeah, how many drink bottles do we see in the center there? There's definitely quite a few in there, so there is some hydration going on.
Demonique levels a blocker. There's that floor again. It's just in favor of the inertia. Object in motion will stay in motion.
Great defensive hit. Great defensive hit by the Pirates team there.
Definitely. They've been putting in a good effort. Demonic lead jammer here for Hell Milton, once again crashing into the pack. It's a good day for the bowling ball type jammers, the ones who use that first hit to create space, rather than the ones who like to use the footwork to... Ball. There it is. I was wondering when it was going to come in.
I definitely agree with you. Running up against the line.
Sorry. No, go ahead, Pavey.
No, I was just going to say I definitely agree with what you're saying, that being able to run straight through the blockers at this time and just hope for the best is a great strategy using this floor, which, as some of the crew here in the stream chat have said, that the floor is the real opponent here.
This is a big moment for Pirate City. They're going with one of their spell jammers, number 93, Dr. Nova, and they have not quite been able to get past that double-digit deficit. Currently stands at 19. They have an opportunity for lead here, and they've got it. Lead jammer to Pirate City and Dr. Nova, but the pack releases, and the Hell Milton jammer will not be far behind. We've got a good foot race here.
Yeah, the
Pirate
next
City
question
to the
goes,
top
who's
of the
going to be
pack.
at the front?
Yep, Pirate City got to the top of the pack to try and slow things down a bit. Dr. Nova went to the outside, tried to clear the hips around and grab a couple of tallies. And it looks like she did get at least one, possibly
Yeah, there was a little
two.
bit of a fall at the end there, but it does look like everyone's okay, which is good.
And the Hell Milton jammer went down pretty hard. Immediately checked on by both teams. Excellent display of sportsmanship.
Yeah, there's a lot of community support and encouragement within the New Zealand Aotearoa Derby community, and definitely showing it right here today.
There's Karina out there again, picking up lead for Hell Milton. And quickly through the pack.
It looks like there was a little bit of confusion there with the Broadside Brawlers jammer being called for a potential penalty or hearing someone else's and then being told to return back to the track. So a little bit of time lost there on that side, but they're definitely away and at the races now.
That's the absolute worst when you're out there, and I can't speak from experience on this, but I know talking to my players, you hear that whistle and you hear what you assume it's you, and so you don't want the insubordination penalty, but you go to the box and they tell you, hey, you're not supposed to be here.
It's one of those moments where you're like, are you talking to me? Is it me? Are you talking to me? And it's a bit awkward when you're looking around, and then you don't really want to, like, as you said, Spider, look around too long, because then it'll be worse for you. So it's always better just to exit out the track neatly and politely, and then if you see some other officials potentially frowning at you or looking like you're doing the wrong thing, it might be best just to gently skate back on the track.
Raggedy Yanks once again extending their lead, 121 to 96, as we come into jam number 12. And Pirate City going to get the push here. Nicolicious Vicious has been carrying the load for Pirate City and trying to do so here again, and grabs lead jammer. The Buccaneer fans having something to cheer about. As
that was some great pushing out by the black jammer.
Definitely just dig in the toe stops and lower the shoulder and try and hit that gap and open it up. 4 points up already for Nicolicious Vicious. That's going to be a tough one as the blocker goes down hard. She calls off the jam. And it's going to be unscathed.
That was an interesting block at the end. It was interesting to see how that hit on the side almost had like a rebound effect to have that blocker to fall down. So that made it quite easy to close out that final pass.
Something we haven't discussed here is the officials determining the final number of points gained by Broadside Brawlers. They do get 3 in that jam. How the fast floor might work against the blockers coming into the pack fast. If one of those work against the jammers, I should say, if one of those blockers turns their back for just a moment, that's an easy way to draw a back block.
Oh yes, and especially since the rules have been clarified further, where if you have, as a jammer, forceful impact to the back, regardless of if they fall or not, that is considered a back block penalty. So they do have to be very mindful about when they are engaging that pack, and especially when you have 2 backs facing in front of you to almost go onto that side angle or to drive from the side rather than a straight on flat push.
Lead jammer here goes to Pirate City and Babe Vicious. It was a very fast pack. Both jammers were out in space nearly together. So Pirate City, I don't believe they were able to gain any points. A wash in that jam. We had a couple of those 0-0 jams in the first period. The score remains as it is. Broadside Brawlers trying to get over that century mark and close this gap.
Yeah, they're getting the lead jams, but they're not getting the larger points or the big 20-point jams at the moment to be able to push them over to that century mark. There is an opportunity here to consider whether they do want to change their tactics or change their way of play. There is about 12 minutes left on the clock, so if there is any opportunity to change their strategy, now is the best time to do that to be able to capitalize on those rewards.
Looked like we had a quick signal for an official timeout, and there now the official timeout stops the clock. 11:29 on the timer remaining in our bout. 121-99. Again, Hell Milton leading Pirate City. Welcome all of you out there. I saw a couple of people who dropped in the chat. We've had one person new to Derby who stayed. Kurogani Scythe 7 is getting a crash course in Derby knowledge from our people in the chat. So thank you, Kurgan, for coming in. We hope you're excited. We hope wherever you are, you find a local team and follow them and add to their ranks of fans and supporters.
I'll be interested to hear in the stream. Sorry, Chief. I'll be interested to hear in the stream what snacks you have. So if you have a snack feast going on in front of you, please let us know in the chat. We do want to hear about it.
Someone's coming in from France there.
From France. Woo!
Or France, depending on where you're from.
There you go.
Oh, and it looks like the jam's already kicked off, but we've had a bit of a false start there, and a bit of an accident's happened on the track. So we'll just protect that person for now. And I don't know about you, Chief, but when you get to the 10-year mark, that's kind of the level when you feel like you're a bit old now.
Oh, yeah.
Is that kind of how you feel, or you're like the parent of roller derby to foster the new generation, the scallywags?
I like to counterbalance my experience with my ability to forget things, so everything seems fresh all the time.
I had the clock adjustment as well. 11:40 was starting things off there as we are back to action. 18 points separate our two squads here as lead jammer goes to Nicolicious Vicious of Pirate City. One offensive blocker, the pivot there for Pirate City, trying to open things up. And we're going to have a penalty. One of the Hell Milton blockers heading to the box. And the Hell Milton jammer using that opportunity. I always say the whistle goes and everybody's heads turn. And the jammer for Hell Milton skated through pretty much unopposed for 4 points. And now Nicolicious Vicious through for 4 of her own. Here now the penalty troubles might be beginning to rear their ugly head for Hell Milton again as their pivot sent to the penalty box now. 2 blockers in the box for the team in white. Pirate City picks up 8 points and they are now down only 10. 8 points for both sides. I spoke too soon. 129-111.
Yeah, so that's 18 points difference between both teams. A quick math in my head there. So there is a comfortable lead there for the Raggedy Anns Hamilton Roller Girls. Having said that, though, if there's a few mistakes on either team, it could push out that bracket further.
And there you go, as Pirate City nearly had a saving block there to hold the jammer in the pack. They do have lead jammer, Babe Insane. And she is quickly through for 4 points, going to call it off. There's the hit it and quit it strategy. There were a couple of times where I thought that Hell Milton or Pirate City with their deficit maybe let the jam go a little bit longer, but they have slowly and steadily climbed back in this game.
Yeah, that is worth raising, I think, Spider, because there's a lot of hit and quit calls that are being made in this game, and there's a couple where it makes you question, is that something that they want to do for a short term because of energy levels, or is it worthwhile considering that longer jam and seeing whether you can back your blockers for defense?
This is big here. One of the Spelljammers for Pirate City grabbing lead. I believe that's Kappa Cat for Pirate City. Only about 10 feet now as Kappa trying to get in and clear at least one blocker. She does. Calls off the jam as Karina was careening very close behind. Another all-important tally on the board for the Broadside Brawlers. They are now down only 13 points.
Yeah, one extra point in the piggy bank to be able to save that for a rainy day. It's interesting to see that the packs are starting further at the top now to get that pace back up and moving to try and get that relative position and allow the jammers to push out those walls.
Demonique jamming for Hal Milton, having had such a great game so far, and they will continue to do so. Lead jammer number 9, Demonique for Raggedy Angst. Got a lot of reminiscing in the Twitch chat since Chief brought up his start in Derby. Now everybody's talking about how it was back in 2011 with minor and major penalties.
Yeah, back in my day, I mean, my favorite is the poodling. I don't know if you remember poodling, where you would stand behind the jammer line to get your last minor, so that you had enough minors to create a major penalty and go to the penalty box.
I love the poodle.
My team did a lot of knee starts, and then the jammer would step over the knees.
Step over the knees. Oh gosh, that's the extreme.
Lead jammer here going to go to Hal Milton. Both jammers out in the ease of the roundabout, out free.
Looks like we are at the races now.
Yep, things really speeding up.
How many passes do you think we'll be able to make here? Looks like we've got two, maybe three passes by the blockers. That's some great intensity there.
3 revolutions around the sun and 3 total points scored, 2 of those going to the Broadside Brawlers.
Those are some hard points
derby,
on both
folks.
sides.
There's the fast derby that I know people clamor for.
There's a little bit of reminiscent in the stream chat around Reverend Bear. Definitely remember those days of Reverend Bear and putting in the time and effort to be able to spread the love of Derby and also the love of where people are having a potential injury, that their voice is always loud and clear for everyone to hear.
There was a big effort there by one of the Pirate City blockers to stay on Karina for Hal Milton. Lead jammer does go to Pirate City, but Karina, very skillful, able to push through and get out and not allow Pirate City to get more than one pass as they call off the jam. Should only be a couple of points, and now we have a timeout. Timeout called by the Hal Milton Roller Ghouls. 5:27 on the clock. 134-119. The Roller Ghouls holding the lead as we are getting close to crunch time here in the second period of play. All right. What I think might qualify for the record longest official timeout is coming to a close here, as it will be Dr. Nova jamming for the Pirate City Broadside Brawlers, and she will be recycled. So it's big advantage here, and Hal Milton will get lead jammer. So not only will they have the lead and control the jam, they will be able to get their blockers out of the penalty box, most likely, and there they do return to the track. So both teams at full strength, and Hal Milton with the lead jammer and in the lead.
It does look like the brains have worked, and they're definitely causing that hustle.
Well, they did call off the jam, but 4 points to the team in white.
that will be pushing out their lead a little bit further there to 138 to 119, with Raggedy Annk's Hamilton Roller Girls in the lead there, and have been in the lead for a little bit. So there's still an opportunity here for Broadside Brawlers to be able to push away, potentially with a 20. Well, what is my math brain thinking here? 20 points and that'd be comfortable? Yeah, 139 for sure.
Oh, excellent block by the Hamilton pivot, forcing Babe Insane to recycle all the way back, and that once again is going to free up the Hamilton Jammer to get lead jammer, Raggedy Angst. This is good work by the team in white to really salt this one away. Those are clutch leads picked up by Hamilton.
Yes, they've definitely taken advantage of the start, really locking down on that Broadside Brawlers jammer, making it quite difficult for them to be able to find their friends and be able to find their feet in front of the pack there. I mean, it's easy to say that a jammer's role really is just to skate forwards in front of the other pack, but when you consider the math and compare yourself compared to the three other people in front of you, that's a lot of a harder task.
And I know we don't have the advanced statistics analytics as it. Oh, Nicolicious
Wow.
Vicious got out quickly. Lead jammer will go to Pirate City as we had a couple of spills there. Both jammers are free out of the pack. I was going to say we don't have the advanced stats analytics, but Pirate City has succeeded when their jammer gets out of the pack within the first turn. If the pack solidifies and they get stuck in there, the defense for Hamilton has been so good that they're pretty much stuck at that point. As we saw there, Nicolicious Vicious was able to get out in that first turn, picked up 3 points. 15 is the deficit now for the Broadside Brawlers, just over 2 minutes to go.
It looks
All
like
three
there might be a
timeouts in play for
timeout
both
being
sides
called.
as well.
Oh, no, they're just a little bit taking their time to get onto the track there, capitalizing on the top. There's a bit of movement happening between both of the packs. It might be a little bit of hustle at the start. There's still a lot of time here for Broadside Brawlers to be able to push away. It is coming a bit more of a challenge as we get under the 2-minute mark there. So it's 139 to the Raggedy Anns Hamilton Roller Girls, and then 122 to the Broadside Brawlers from Pirate City in Auckland.
Officials debating in the midst of the track just for a moment, because I believe there was a whistle to make sure that everybody knew that that was not the whistle to start the jam. I always love the whistle to come back because everybody just goes and is like, no, we're not starting yet. We're not starting quite yet.
the foe, I'm ready, but oh no, we can't go yet.
Not quite yet, right. Now we do have the whistle to release the pack. And that's lead jammer going to go to jammer collision in the outfield on the far straightaway. So lead jammer is Pirate City, but Hamilton getting the advantage. Excellent work. I believe that's Demonique, who's played a whale of a game for Raggedy Angst here today.
It was interesting at the end there that there was a potential for the jammer to end up being recycled back into the pack. So they were pretty lucky to be able to get up quickly and be able to skate off before that opportunity presents itself. There's nothing more demoralizing than getting hit out and then from the opposing jammer standing up and realizing there's now a wall in front of you and you have to do it all over again.
I can only imagine. I see it on the faces of my skaters. And that's when I try to call the timeout and try to bring them over. It's like, okay, let's put it out of your mind. Let's go to the next jam. Jam starts here in earnest. Oh, Hamilton was bottled up. It's going to be a toss-up to who gets lead, and I believe they're
it
checking.
Does look like it's Broadside Brawlers.
You're right.
Yes, it's Broadside Brawlers.
It's lead jammer to Babe Insane. It looks like the Broadside Brawlers are just going to let this play out. Full complement of timeouts for both teams, and they're just going to keep them in the bag.
Now it's a question of who wants to have that drive and who wants to stay in the front more. It's a big race.
Babe was checking the bench to see if she should call off the jam. Time is ticking down here.
And that
that
does
will
look
be
like
the
it's
final
time.
whistle.
So unconfirmed final score. Well, unconfirmed score, I should say. Raggedy Anks, Hamilton Roller Girls 141 to the Broadside Brawlers from Pirate City 122.
Appreciate you,
that was a
Crunchy.
fantastic game.
Apologize, that was not Demonique for the last jam for Hamilton.
Now, the favourite part of the whole game, the cheers, the chants, the excitement. Looks like we've got some woos going on there. I kind of want to woo myself and some more woos.
You can woo.
Over here.
We'll do
I'm
our wave
wooing
here at home.
for Kiwi Derby. Woo for New Zealand Derby. Woo for
the
Hamilton.
scallywags.
Woo for woo for Auckland. It's been great to be here with them, and it's been great to be able to see them playing and inspiring all of us to be able to see roller derby live.
Yeah, it has been a great start back into the Derby. First, my favourite game of the last year, that's for sure. And I'm looking forward to more as they come in.
Most definitely. It was a great effort by both teams. It was a great crowd. So nice to see a crowd in live roller derby, and fantastic to do this game with the both of you from so many miles apart.
It's great to actually meet you, Spider, as a virtual e-meet. And it's good to be able to see you again, Chief. Congratulations to both Hamilton Roller Girls Raggedy Anks and the Pirate City Broadside Brawlers for being able to put on this game, play a great game, and be able to keep up with that speed and the pace that was going on for a lot of the skating round and round the track, because there was a lot of that going on today. So a lot of respect for them to be able to continue to maintain that. And I'm sure they're going to have a great after party now and be able to have some drinks, have some snacks, and drink that grog or those brain smoothies.
Some grog, yep.
Well, it was fantastic commentating with you both, and see you soon.